What if I told you that the greatest battle in your life is not happening around you, but inside your own mind? Every single day, millions of people lose opportunities, relationships, confidence, and peace, not because they aren't talented, not because they aren't capable, but because they cannot stop thinking. They replay conversations that ended days ago. They worry about problems that don't even exist yet. They imagine failure before taking the first step. They search for certainty in a world that has never promised it. Overthinking is one of the quietest forms of self-destruction. It doesn't announce itself with loud noises or dramatic moments. It slowly steals your happiness, your confidence, and your courage. It convinces you that thinking more will make you safer, when in reality it only keeps you trapped. It tells you to wait until you feel completely ready, but that day never comes. It whispers that one more plan, one more opinion, one more night of worrying will somehow give you the answers you've been searching for. Look back at your own life for a moment. How many things that kept you awake at night actually happened the way you imagined? How many fears became reality? Most of them disappeared before they even had the chance to exist. Yet your mind forced you to suffer through them again and again. That is what overthinking does. It makes you fight battles that only exist in your imagination. It drains your energy solving problems that haven't arrived and may never arrive. Your mind is an incredible servant, but it becomes a terrible master when you allow every thought to control your emotions. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves your attention. Not every fear is a warning. Not every doubt is the truth. Not every worst-case scenario is a prediction of your future. Thoughts come and go like clouds passing through the sky. The mistake is believing that every cloud is a storm. Many people believe they need to eliminate fear before they can move forward. That isn't how life works. Courage has never meant the absence of fear. Courage means refusing to let fear decide your future. Some of the greatest achievements in history were accomplished by people who were uncertain, nervous, and afraid. The difference was simple. They acted anyway. You don't become confident by sitting still and thinking about success. You become confident by taking action despite uncertainty. Every small step teaches you something that endless thinking never could. Experience answers questions that imagination can never solve. Action gives clarity. Movement creates momentum. Progress replaces fear. The truth is that life has never been under your complete control. You cannot predict every outcome. You cannot prevent every mistake. You cannot guarantee that everyone will understand you or approve of your choices. The more you try to control everything, the more exhausted you become. Peace begins the moment you stop demanding certainty from an uncertain world. It begins when you focus your energy on what you can control, your attitude, your effort, your discipline, and your response. Stop giving yesterday permission to control today. The past cannot be changed, no matter how many times you replay it. Every mistake has already taught its lesson. Carry the wisdom, not the weight. Regret only grows heavier when you refuse to put it down. Your future deserves more attention than your past ever will. Stop borrowing tomorrow's problems. The future has enough challenges of its own without you carrying them today. Anxiety is often nothing more than living in a future that hasn't happened. While your mind is busy imagining everything that could go wrong, life quietly passes by. The people you love, the opportunities in front of you, the beauty of this moment, they are all waiting for your attention while your thoughts keep pulling you somewhere else. Learn to become the observer of your mind instead of the prisoner inside it. Watch your thoughts without chasing every one of them. Let them come, let them go. You don't have to argue with every negative thought or prove it wrong. You simply have to stop giving it authority over your life. The more you practice this, the quieter your mind becomes, and in that quietness you begin to discover a strength that has been there all along. Remember that every successful journey begins with one imperfect step. You don't need all the answers before you begin. You don't need complete confidence. You don't need perfect timing. You only need the willingness to move. Every step forward weakens fear and strengthens belief. Every action reminds your mind that growth is found outside your comfort zone, not inside endless analysis. From this day forward, refuse to waste your precious life inside imagined conversations, imagined failures, and imagined disasters. Choose to live in reality instead of possibility. Choose action instead of hesitation. Choose progress instead of perfection. Every sunrise gives you another chance to think less, trust more, act with purpose, and build a life that is guided by courage rather than controlled by fear. Most people believe that every thought they have deserves their attention. They wake up in the morning, and before their feet even touch the floor, their minds begin racing. They think about yesterday's mistakes, today's responsibilities, tomorrow's uncertainties, and problems that may never even happen. Hour after hour, they become trapped inside conversations that exist only in their imagination. They mistake constant thinking for progress, when in reality, they are standing completely still. The mind is a remarkable gift, capable of creativity, learning, planning, and solving problems, but it was never meant to become your ruler. It was designed to serve you, not control you. Imagine owning the most advanced tool in the world. In the hands of a skilled person, it can build incredible things. But if that tool begins operating on its own, making decisions without your permission, it quickly becomes dangerous. Your mind works the same way. When you consciously direct your thoughts, your mind becomes your greatest strength. When you allow every fear, doubt, and assumption to take control, the same mind becomes the source of your suffering. The problem is not that you think too much. The problem is that you believe every thought deserves to be believed. Your thoughts are not always facts. They are often stories, predictions, memories, or fears. Sometimes your mind exaggerates small problems until they appear impossible to solve. Sometimes it convinces you that failure is guaranteed before you've even tried. It whispers that you are not ready, not capable, or not good enough. If you obey every one of those thoughts, your life becomes limited by imagination instead of reality. A single negative thought can grow into a chain of worries simply because you continue feeding it with attention. Learning to observe your thoughts without immediately reacting to them is one of the greatest forms of inner strength. You don't have to fight every thought that enters your mind. You don't have to argue with it or prove it wrong. You can simply notice it, allow it to pass, and return your attention to what truly matters. Just as clouds drift across the sky without changing the sky itself, thoughts move through your awareness without defining who you are. The moment you recognize that you are the observer rather than the thought itself, you begin reclaiming your freedom. Real confidence is not having only positive thoughts. Real confidence is knowing that negative thoughts don't have the authority to decide your actions. Courage is moving forward even while fear continues speaking. Discipline is choosing your values over your emotions. Every successful person has experienced self-doubt, uncertainty, and anxiety. The difference is that they refused to hand over control to every passing thought. They understood that action shapes reality far more than endless mental debate. The mind can suggest countless reasons to stay comfortable, avoid risk, and postpone growth. but your purpose becomes stronger every time you make a conscious decision instead of an emotional reaction. Each moment you pause before believing your thoughts, you strengthen the ability to choose wisdom over impulse, clarity over confusion, and deliberate action over automatic fear. Many people call it being careful. They say they are preparing, analyzing, researching, or thinking things through. On the surface, it looks responsible. It sounds intelligent. It even feels productive. But if you look closely, much of what we call preparation is not preparation at all. It is fear wearing a convincing disguise. Overthinking often pretends to protect you. It tells you that if you think long enough, you can avoid every mistake. If you plan perfectly, nothing will go wrong. If you imagine every possible outcome, you will finally feel ready. So you keep thinking. You replay conversations, reconsider decisions, search for more information, and wait for certainty. Days become weeks, and opportunities begin to pass by, while your mind remains busy building scenarios that may never happen. The strange thing is that overthinking feels active, but it usually keeps you inactive. You can spend hours thinking about starting a business without taking a single step. You can analyze a relationship endlessly without having one honest conversation. You can plan your future in great detail while doing nothing that actually moves you toward it. Fear loves this kind of thinking because it creates the illusion of progress without requiring the risk of action. Real preparation has a purpose. It gathers the information you need and then leads to a decision. Overthinking has no finish line. It keeps asking for more certainty, more guarantees, more reassurance. The goal keeps moving. No matter how much you learn, your mind says, just a little more. And because life can never be completely predictable, the feeling of readiness never arrives. Think about a person standing at the edge of a swimming pool. They test the water, check the depth, read about swimming techniques, watch other people swim, and imagine every possible problem. Meanwhile, someone else takes a breath and steps into the water. The second person may not know everything, but they learn through experience. The first person remains on the edge, convinced that one more calculation will eliminate uncertainty. That is the hidden cost of overthinking. It steals experience. Some lessons cannot be learned in your head. Confidence is built by doing. Courage is built by acting while afraid. Wisdom is built by making decisions and learning from the results. The people who grow the most are not always the ones who think the most. They are often the ones who are willing to move before they feel completely ready. Fear says, wait until you are certain. Growth says, take the next step. Fear says, what if you fail? Growth says, what if you learn? Fear says, think about it one more time. Growth says, you already know enough to begin. When you notice yourself trapped in endless analysis, ask a simple question. Am I preparing or am I avoiding? The answer can change your life. Because many of the things you want most, love, success, purpose, confidence, opportunity, exist on the other side of action, not on the other side of perfect certainty. The mind will always be able to invent another reason to delay, another risk to consider, another scenario to fear, another possibility to control, another excuse to remain where it feels safe. Another question to ask before taking the first real step. Most people spend very little time living in the only place where life actually exists, the present moment. Their bodies are here, but their minds are somewhere else. They replay yesterday's failures, regret words they cannot take back, or imagine tomorrow's challenges before they have even arrived. The result is a life filled with unnecessary tension, not because of what is happening now, but because of what the mind keeps creating. Peace is not something waiting for you in the future, after every problem has been solved. It begins the moment you stop allowing your attention to be stolen by what no longer exists or what has not yet happened. The past has lessons, but it has no power unless you keep carrying it with you. Many people relive painful memories every single day, allowing old mistakes to define who they are today. They replay moments they wish they could change, hoping that thinking about them one more time will somehow rewrite history. But no amount of regret can alter what has already happened. The past becomes a burden only when you refuse to put it down. Every minute spent fighting yesterday is a minute taken away from today's opportunities. The future creates a different kind of trap. The mind constantly asks, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if everything goes wrong? These questions feel important, but they are usually built on imagination rather than reality. Most of the events we worry about never happen exactly as we expect. Yet we suffer through them hundreds of times inside our minds before life even has a chance to unfold. Anxiety grows because we keep trying to control a future that has not yet arrived. Look around you for a moment. Right now, in this very second, take a slow breath. Notice the air entering your lungs. Feel your feet touching the ground. Listen to the sounds around you. In this moment, many of the problems your mind has been shouting about are not physically happening. Your heartbeat continues. Your breath continues. Life continues. The present moment quietly reminds you that reality is often much calmer than the stories your mind creates. This does not mean ignoring responsibility or pretending difficulties do not exist. It means dealing with life one moment at a time instead of trying to carry the weight of an entire future on your shoulders. You cannot solve tomorrow's problems today, just as you cannot relive yesterday to change its outcome. All meaningful action begins with what you choose to do right now. Every great achievement, every healthy relationship, every meaningful conversation, and every positive habit is built one present moment after another. When you fully focus on the task in front of you, your energy becomes stronger, your decisions become clearer, your emotions become steadier. Instead of dividing your attention between countless imagined scenarios, you give your best effort to what is real. This simple shift changes the quality of your life, because your mind is no longer trapped between regret and fear. It becomes available for awareness, gratitude, learning, and purposeful action. Every sunrise offers a fresh beginning. Every breath offers another opportunity to return your attention to what is real. Every small moment becomes a reminder that peace has always been available. Whenever you stop chasing yesterday and stop fearing tomorrow, one of the greatest causes of stress is trying to control things that were never meant to be under your control. Every day, people exhaust themselves worrying about the opinions of others, unexpected events, the mistakes of the past, or the uncertainty of the future. They spend countless hours fighting against reality instead of working with it. The harder they try to control every outcome, the more frustrated they become. True strength is not found in controlling everything around you. It is found in recognizing the difference between what you can influence and what you must learn to let go. There are only a few things that truly belong to you: your attitude, your choices, your words, your effort, your discipline, and your response to life's challenges are within your control. These are the areas where your energy has the power to create change. Everything else exists outside your reach. You cannot force people to understand you. You cannot make everyone appreciate your kindness. You cannot prevent every obstacle, predict every outcome, or guarantee that life will always be fair. The moment you accept this truth, a tremendous weight begins to lift from your shoulders. Imagine trying to stop the wind with your hands. No matter how determined you are, the wind continues to blow. Now imagine adjusting the sails of a boat instead. You cannot control the direction of the wind, but you can control how you respond to it. Life works in the same way. Difficult situations will come. Unexpected changes will happen. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Opportunities will appear and disappear without warning. Your peace depends less on what happens and more on how you choose to meet those moments. Many people lose their joy because they keep fighting battles they can never win. They replay old conversations, wishing someone had spoken differently. They wait for an apology that may never come. They become angry over circumstances they cannot change. Every minute spent resisting reality is a minute stolen from building a better future. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means seeing life clearly enough to stop wasting your strength on things beyond your reach. When something happens, ask yourself a simple question: can I do something about this right now? If the answer is yes, then act with courage and determination. If the answer is no, then continuing to worry will not improve the situation. Worry often disguises itself as responsibility, but endless worrying without action only drains your energy. The energy spent resisting what cannot be changed is energy that could have been invested in growth, learning, healing, or creating new opportunities. There is incredible freedom in releasing the need to control every detail of your life. You begin to trust that not every answer must be known today. You stop measuring your worth by outcomes you cannot guarantee. Instead of chasing perfection, you focus on giving your best effort. Instead of fearing uncertainty, you learn to adapt. Instead of becoming bitter over life's unpredictability, you become stronger because of it. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice patience. Every setback becomes a lesson in resilience, and every unexpected turn becomes another reminder that your greatest power has never been the ability to control the world around you, but the ability to master the way you think, the way you respond, and the way you continue moving forward despite what you cannot control. The world has become louder than ever before. From the moment many people wake up, they reach for their phones, scroll through endless notifications, listen to opinions from strangers, and fill every quiet moment with music, videos, or constant conversation. Their minds are surrounded by noise from morning until night, leaving almost no space for reflection. Over time, they become so accustomed to distraction that silence begins to feel uncomfortable. Yet it is often within silence that the mind becomes its strongest. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the absence of unnecessary mental chaos. It is the space where your thoughts begin to settle, where emotions become easier to understand, and where clarity quietly replaces confusion. A restless mind constantly reacts to everything it sees and hears. A calm mind observes before it responds. That simple difference can change the quality of every decision you make. Imagine a lake during a storm. The water is constantly moving, making it impossible to see what lies beneath the surface. As the wind settles, the water becomes still, and everything hidden below becomes visible. Your mind works the same way. When it is constantly disturbed by worry, comparison, fear, and endless distractions, it becomes difficult to recognize truth. In silence, your thoughts begin to slow down, and your awareness becomes sharper. Problems that once seemed impossible often reveal simple solutions because your attention is no longer scattered. Many people believe they need more information to solve every challenge. Sometimes what they truly need is less noise. The answer is not always found by reading another article, watching another video, or asking another opinion. Sometimes wisdom appears when you stop searching outside yourself for a moment and allow your own mind to breathe. Constant stimulation can drown out your inner voice, while silence allows it to become clear again. Silence also teaches patience. In a world that rewards immediate reactions, silence encourages thoughtful responses. When someone criticizes you, silence gives you the opportunity to choose your words carefully instead of speaking from anger. When life becomes uncertain, silence helps you avoid making emotional decisions you may later regret. The strongest people are not those who react the fastest. They are often the ones who pause long enough to understand what truly deserves their attention. There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. Many people fear being alone because they immediately face the thoughts they have been trying to escape. Yet spending time in quiet reflection can become one of the most valuable habits you ever develop. It allows you to understand your fears without being controlled by them. It helps you recognize what truly matters instead of chasing every distraction that demands your attention. In silence, you begin to notice the difference between your genuine values and the expectations placed upon you by others. A few moments of quiet each day can transform the way you experience life. Sitting without distractions, taking slow breaths, observing your thoughts without judgment, and allowing your mind to rest are not signs of weakness or laziness. They are acts of mental discipline. Just as the body grows stronger through proper recovery after exercise, the mind grows stronger when it is given moments of stillness. Every period of silence becomes an opportunity to develop greater focus, deeper awareness, emotional balance, clearer judgment, and the quiet confidence that comes from no longer needing constant noise to feel complete or secure in yourself and your path forward. Many people spend their lives imagining the perfect future, yet they never take the first real step toward it. They dream about success, picture the life they want, and create detailed plans in their minds, but their feet remain planted in the same place. They believe they need more confidence, more knowledge, more time, or better circumstances before they can begin. The longer they wait, the larger the first step appears, until even the smallest action feels impossible. What they fail to realize is that great achievements are never built through perfect imagination. They are built through consistent action, one small step at a time. The mind has an incredible ability to create endless possibilities. It can imagine success, but it can also imagine failure. It creates scenarios where everything goes perfectly, and just as easily invents situations where everything falls apart. When you allow those imagined possibilities to replace real action, you become trapped inside your own thoughts. Hours turn into days, days become months, and before long, years have passed while your dreams remain exactly where they began, in your imagination. Think about learning to climb a mountain. No one reaches the summit with a single giant leap. Every climber moves forward one careful step at a time. Some steps are easy, while others require tremendous effort. There are moments when progress feels slow, but every step brings them closer to the top. Life follows the same principle. Every meaningful goal is achieved through small actions repeated consistently. Writing one page every day eventually becomes a book. Saving a small amount regularly becomes financial security. Exercising for a short time each day becomes a healthier body. Tiny actions, repeated with discipline, create extraordinary results. Perfection is one of the greatest enemies of progress. Many people refuse to begin because they want everything to be flawless from the start. They want the perfect plan, the perfect timing, and the perfect conditions, but perfection is an illusion that keeps moving farther away the longer you chase it. Progress, on the other hand, begins the moment you decide that taking one imperfect step is better than standing still. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person once made mistakes, felt uncertain, and questioned whether they were capable. Their advantage was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move despite it. Action creates momentum. The first step often feels like the hardest because it breaks the barrier between thinking and doing. Once you begin, each small success builds confidence for the next challenge. Confidence is rarely something you discover before taking action. It is something you earn through experience. Every time you complete a small task, keep a promise to yourself, or overcome a minor obstacle, you strengthen your belief that you are capable of more than you imagined. Instead of asking yourself how you will accomplish everything, ask what you can accomplish today. Instead of focusing on the entire journey, focus on the next meaningful step. Large goals become overwhelming when viewed all at once, but they become manageable when divided into simple daily actions. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to move a little farther than yesterday. Every decision to act, no matter how small, separates dreamers from achievers. Every moment spent taking real action carries you farther than 1,000 perfect plans that exist only inside your mind, waiting for a future that never arrives because you never chose to begin.